Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another Meeting Gold episode, and today we're talking about motherhood, work, entrepreneurship, and all of the above. We've got all of the above, and there's your intro right there. Anna Sinclair.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's going nice.
You drove 3 hours to come here.
I did.
That means a lot.
I sang a lot of songs. It was hot, sweaty, and
Okay,
sexy.
well, wait. I'm gonna cut you off right there because we'll get right into it. You sang a lot of songs on your way here.
Yeah.
You were a pop star. So Janelle tells me, who is kindly sitting behind the cameras here.
She's okay. I kind of was, kind of wasn't. Almost went.
You're
on
too
the other
humble.
side
You're too
into
humble.
The US, but yeah, I was a pop artist. I got signed to Universal at a pretty, I would say, kind of like young age. Did like teen pop. Was on the Disney Channel, on the Family Channel, and I think I was on my way to getting a US deal. I'm pretty sure I was actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we kind of transition into motherhood here because
Yeah.
you are the founder and CEO
Yeah.
of TOTALMOM Inc.
Yes.
Where it stemmed out of a beginning idea of Total Mom Show, where you did some cool events with mothers.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is I was used to having a team. I was always used to having a team of like 5 people around me. Being in the music business, you have like a manager, you have a stylist, you have a makeup artist, you have a publicist, you have the record label person, and then all the people that, you know, work around wherever you're going to. So
Right.
like whichever gig or whatever you're doing. So I was always used to having a lot of people around me. And then I got pregnant and my husband and I were like, let's do the parent thing. And I quickly found myself in a dark basement, wondering like what was next for me, and just kind of thinking like, I love this so much. I love this little baby. I love like being a mom, and I'm so excited for this chapter in my life. But slowly and surely, like this desire and need for, you know, just making an impact or being an entrepreneur just started like getting bigger and bigger. And so I went to a baby show like most moms do, and quickly realized that it was actually just that, a baby show. Like you go and you buy stuff for the baby, but essentially you kind of just get like left in the dust
Right.
as a mom.
Interesting. And so it seems that everything you do is really supporting mothers and, you know, raising children. And I think, like we talked about that, you know, the role that a mother plays in a child's life is, we could go back and forth, and I mean, you have the experience, but around 50% at least, in my opinion. And I think from what you were saying as well, because how a child turns out is a lot of their own decisions, but a lot of those decisions stem from experiences they've had in the first, you know, 10, 15 years of their life.
Yeah, I mean, like our job as parents is really just to create the space for whatever it is that they need to experience. It's not our role to like tell them what to do, to try to shape them, to, you know, pigeonhole them into what we want for them. I personally feel like I had a really difficult upbringing. I had an extremely unique childhood. I've immigrated twice and was a refugee. And
Where from?
So Ukraine
Wow.
to Israel and then to Canada. And yeah, we had to start over many times. And I feel like my mom and my dad went through a lot. Like they went through a lot immigrating us. I mean, there were times where, you know, we were sleeping in the airport floor for a week straight, or we had to like not pack anything into bags. We just had to go with whatever we had. And it was very difficult for my mom and my dad. And so like I would never like hinder any ill intentions or bad feelings for what they did, because they had a really hard and difficult transition in their lives. But looking back at my experiences, there's a lot of work that I have to do as a human right now just to constantly grow and like to constantly take myself back into a positive mindset and like take responsibility for my own mental health. And so when I look at my children, I always remember that like everything I say and the way I'm showing up is going to really matter to how they see themselves, everything, like all of that.
I was doing some research on the United States, because there's more stats on the States than there is Canada.
True.
And the States is the #1 country for single motherhood in the world.
Yes, yeah.
The number one country.
That's true.
And so I wanted to talk and touch on that is single motherhood, raising a child. How does one even go about doing that? How can you, like, you can't prepare for it.
I can't even imagine. Like, I have always believed that every mother deserves a strong support system around her, but to then be a single mom and then have to figure that out, it's just mind-boggling to me. I think the whole purpose of Total Mom and why it exists is to personally and professionally transform the lives of moms by implementing support systems and teaching them on how they can like build that village and like how they can structure their lives so that they can too fill their cup. But for single moms, I mean, you're already at a disadvantage, you're already at a barrier, and you already have less time to fill your own cup. And I mean, stress is the number one leader of disease today. Like, it all happens from there, and it just like sits in your body and causes ailments. So
for your life.
Yeah, for life, like for in general. So yeah, I
What
mean,
would you,
I'm sending so much love to like every single mom right now,
Yeah.
like just as you said that, because that's tough.
I wanted to talk a little bit about, you know, you raising your child. There's a lot of talk, and like I have my own opinions on this, but I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
Stay-at-home moms. I think a lot of society
You're taking
dishes
it there.
that.
You're
Oh yeah,
taking it
we're
there.
going there. A lot of society dishes mothers being stay-at-home and say, oh, you got to get out, you got to work. Why don't you work? Do this, do that. But you can daycare. You can afford to do it.
Yeah.
Your husband's working, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But then there's a side that's also like stay-at-home moms raise children who care, love, and truly want to support.
100%.
So can we talk about that?
Yes.
And feel free,
Okay.
like, be completely open about that. Stay-at-home
let's just
motherhood.
start with the fact that nobody works harder than a mom.
I would agree.
Nobody works harder than a mom. Like, can we get like I'm serious, nobody works harder than a mom. And the thing is whether it is that you have a career or you don't, that work is like 15 hats. I don't care if you're a CEO of a company and you're like super successful, or you're a stay-at-home mom, you're still wearing those 15 hats.
It's like being a CEO, manager.
It is.
Janitor, like everything.
Therapist, like chiropractor, like all of that.
Seriously.
It really is. And the thing is like, I just saw such a huge need out there for moms that were, you know, they started the motherhood journey, but then they wanted a little piece of them. And so it didn't matter about going to like corporate or not. Entrepreneurship is like the go-to solution for you getting time with your kids and still having a career to make some money. Because like, let's be honest, nobody wants to go and be like, hey babe, can I get some money to go do my nails? You just like, it's that empowerment that you get for running your own business and doing what you feel you're passionate about, and then not worrying that you're going to get fired one day, right?
I love that you said that, because my mom talks about it a lot, because my mom was stay at home.
Nice.
And I credit a lot of, you know, what I've been able to accomplish and my mindset to her being actually stay at home.
That's so
I don't
nice.
think I would have been raised the same way if she went out of the house
Well, I
and
hope
worked.
not. You're lovely.
Thank you. So one of the number one things that she said was, you know, I may not get a paycheck from this,
Yes.
but I run the ship. Well, she made sure my dad knew that, but I run the ship, and the reward that I get is seeing my kids turn out successful.
Yeah.
And it's like getting that, it's like selling your shares in a company, you know, after 40 years of working there. In a sense, would you agree?
Absolutely. It's like the end result of all your hard work, and then you're getting to see like your baby become a human, and you supported that. It's like the best feeling in the world.
Okay, now
like, I wouldn't change that for anything.
I don't know if I have a lot of moms specifically listening to this podcast, but you could hopefully bring in some here. But I want to ask some advice, because, you know, mothers, their kids become 17, 18 years old, 19, 20.
Yeah.
And now what do? Their kids are leaving. Their kids are outgrowing the nest. How can moms find purpose in something else? Or, you know, some moms might just want to relax after 20 years of raising children.
I mean, yeah, hello.
I know, right?
Can we take the longest nap ever?
How
and can
old are
you
your
just
kids?
like bring us grapes and things and like alcohol? My kids are 5 and 4.
Gotcha.
Both boys.
And so, yeah, I want to, because like now like I see you have your own business, so there's a lot of purpose in that.
For sure.
Right? But then there's also purpose in raising your children. And I mean, you could without question say that that's the number one thing for you. But then now they're 18, 19, 20 years old. You're not running your business. You were fully stay at home, did not have an outside job, just working inside of the home. What can mothers do? How can they go out and find something to do or find meaning or find purpose 18, 19, 20-year-olds when the kids turn that?
I mean, the end of the day doesn't matter where you're at. I think purpose is a personal thing. It's something that is like deeply rooted from your desire to like want to do something that means more than just you. Like it's above and beyond you. It's just something that is like either something you want to give back or something that sparks your fire and makes you feel good. I think
Interesting.
At the end of the day, when you get to a point where you're like alone and thinking and you're not on the go with kids and things like that, you can like start over. You can like recreate yourself. You can like find a way to like be a part of something bigger than you. I mean, really, that's like what I would do if my kids were all older and I didn't have a buzzing career or anything like that.
I want to go back to
How far?
pop star Anna. You said you have a very interesting story with that and how getting pregnant basically changed everything. Maybe in a time that felt negatively, but then obviously you probably would say that that's the best thing that's happened to you.
The best thing.
But I want to ask you, in that moment, break that down, that story down, how you were feeling those emotions.
Oh gosh.
Long story short, or
long story
really
short,
have 3 hours?
Honestly, the best way to put this into words is, you know, you work for something for so long, like 5 years straight of the hustle and the grind every single morning. And I'm talking about like creative design, recording, rehearsing, choreography, like every single day, talking to dudes on the Facebook, trying to make sure you can get that gig, or like having your manager like grind it out, try to get a record on a radio or something like that. Like I'm talking about like 4 a.m. every single day for 4 or 5 years, to all lead up to flying to Miami with The Weeknd and Kygo, and like having your radio programmer be like the radio programmer in Canada. He's like the president of Ultra Records Canada. So being in that moment and just like being around the people that I know have already made it and making those right introductions. And like, I can't talk about those specific details because it's kind of confidential, but let's just fast forward to the fact that like, because I became a mother, because I was pregnant, like this contract's like right in half. Like there was no opportunity for me to keep going at that point. It was one of those things where it was like, good luck, thanks for your time.
Wow.
Not happening. So
do you think that
tough.
it was teared in half when you became pregnant because you were still in those building stages of starting your career? Because imagine like
it's pop. Pop is like nowadays, like in country, like someone gets pregnant, it's a front cover of a magazine.
It's like who got pregnant?
You know?
It was like Carrie not Carrie, or I don't know.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. She's really cute. The shorter, long blonde hair.
I can't remember her name.
It's more prominent now, but back in the time when I was pregnant, there were no women on magazines pregnant and like rocking it.
Yeah.
Like motherhood was still very like hush hush. Like you become a mother, see you later. And now moms are coming out there and they're like thriving and they're doing both. And
well, you see, like now you
see
see on magazines, you see women pregnant on the covers, there's stories being told, all that kind of stuff, starting to embrace it. And I think that is a good side of how the world has kind of gotten a little bit more woke in a sense where it's like now it's a little bit better that side can be more talked about because there is some valid stories there. Now, to work for something that long, I can imagine in my sense, it would be like me building this business, opening up a studio, and then after 3 years, you know, some rumor or something comes out and everything's gone.
Yeah.
Everything's gone. I've lost all my clients. Everything's gone. You're restarting.
Yeah.
Somebody, because I think a lot of people go through that. There's more stories that are restarting than the ones that are just like from 15 to 45. You just did this and you got super good at it.
I'm not gonna lie. I am a huge believer in shit happening for a reason. Like, I'm not the kind of person that's like the pity party, like this happened to me. I've had to get really good at dealing with challenges and overcoming really messed up stuff, that to the point where I embrace it so much now. Like when stuff happens, I literally turn to my husband and I'm like, oh my God, something cool's gonna happen. Something good's around the corner.
Like something's good's gonna come,
We're
but
so
I gotta
sick
deal
and
with this
twisted
now.
like that because like we've been there and we've done that, and we know now, like, for example, when I was driving over here, I was thinking about like, how do I put together in a nutshell, like how important mindset is to the whole picture of life? It's you have these two movies that play. There's the conscious movie and there's the unconscious movie. And the conscious movie is like the stuff that we know we're saying and doing, ways of being, and we can hear it out loud. The unconscious movie that's playing is like stuff that like is really deep down, but affects the way that like our life actually turns out into the universe. And so I always try to make a really conscious decision to stay positive and to think like there is a purpose for this, there's a reason for this. So when that happened, I kind of embraced it and I was like, okay, well, I mean, this was my biggest dream. Like since I was like 2, I had a karaoke machine, like all the posters of Britney and everything. But now I see that this was everything I needed. I have so much more purpose and so much more like that I get to do from all areas of my skills and talents. Like this, being an entrepreneur is like the biggest muscle that I could possibly flex. Like it's not pigeonholing me and just singing in front of a microphone and recording. Like I'm so happy now.
Yeah, and I think like from what you've built, you've definitely got a business or a company that can run, maybe not fully on its own, maybe someday, hopefully someday.
Don't ask Chanel.
But you've got something that you truly have found a sense of purpose in. What can mothers do, you know, even through raising a child? I want to ask, and not to sound like too salesy, but how does Total Mom Inc. assist mothers in that sense, raising children? Like what's your bread and butter in like a minute scoop?
Okay, so essentially there's different ways that we kind of support moms personally and professionally. One is we have this thing called Canada's Total Mom Pitch, and year after year, I think we're going into our 4th year now, we do a big business competition nationwide. We have all of these mom entrepreneurs submit their business. We have like a big $30,000 grant. We put them on like the news. They get like visibility all across the nation. Then there's like top 100. Then it goes to top 5, and we like scoop them up under our wing and we introduce them to like the Visas, the BDC, like the GoDaddies, like the Scotiabanks.
Really?
Yeah, and then
So
our
you
celebrity
throw them
judges.
in front of opportunity.
Oh yeah. We not only throw them in front of opportunity, but we literally open the door to like the people who make the decisions about where to get funding, how to get your marketing set up. Like we pretty much try to take out the noise of the online space where everyone's like that like overnight guru and just all the courses and everything that are coming at you. And we just like fast track these moms and take their business plan and just say, here's the person you need right now. Here's how you get the money. And
you know what?
Yeah, it's
I
amazing.
love that you touched on that. Sorry to cut you off.
No.
I'm sure we can still go.
No. Is it the guru thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to
Way too many
specify.
fakos.
So
Yeah.
courses are not a bad thing. There's
I
so
love.
many fantastic people out there and so much you can learn. But then you've got people who are in a field and it's very easy to fake. So easy nowadays, especially with social media. Look at Tinder swindler. It's so easy to fake. Now that guy was a genius in some sense, but it's very easy to fake how you can be perceived on social media. And we can all be victim to faking how we look or exaggerating it's you know, there's a fine line. I think in some ways you can't control it because people are always going to make their own opinions. Back to my point though, then you get people who are in fields who paint themselves as absolute professionals.
Oh, I know.
And then go on and create a digital course and try to do that. So like you doing this in person and really trying to iron out like you have the systems in place for an actual company, and then now you have the experience and the backbone instead of just saying that you can do this. Like I see on TikTok all the time, you know, these guys who made like $1 million in crypto one time, and then they're like, "Oh my God, I have this course. That's how you can make money too. Drop shipping, da 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 da."
Oh my
Okay,
God.
enough of my rant, but I want to know like your thoughts.
So true.
Yeah.
No, I hate that. And like all you need is someone to do a really hot photo shoot of you, slap up a landing page, get your funnel started, and like that's it. And then now you're making like $100,000 like a quarter.
It's easy to fall into false advertising nowadays because there's so much of it. I still think though there is that value of like true people. Yes. You can't let it get negatively impacted, because you can look at anything. A media company could be negative. You directing moms could somehow be taken in a negative manner.
Oh, and I'm sure it will.
For sure. But I want to talk about that a little bit. How can people trust or not fall into false advertising? And then where does like the total momming kind of fall into not being that false advertising and really show that backbone?
I mean, always do your research. Like always, like if you're going to work with someone, get referrals, like ask around, ask them who they've worked with, like talk to, if someone's going to do your branding or whatever like that, just be like, okay, who are your last 3 clients? Do you mind if I ask them? The other thing is with Total Mom, the people behind Total Mom, and even just myself, like throwing myself out into the industry for so long, and like, I got into Forbes 2 years ago.
Yeah, congrats, that's awesome.
Thank you. And then last November, I got inducted to the top 100 most powerful women in Canada. So I already have accolades to kind of back that up, and those are not like
to get fake accolades.
No, you can't buy that.
Yeah.
SHIT. Can we swear on this podcast?
Yeah, you totally can.
Do you guys go beep?
Well, actually, Johnny could totally do that, but no, we keep it raw.
But so you can't buy that shit.
Oh, no, exactly. And that's where you get, like, it's easy to buy articles. Like, I'll be honest about it. There was an article written about me. It was the first one that came up, and a writer approached me and said, hey, we want to write an article on you. This is how much it's going to cost, right? Yeah. And I said, I see people paying for articles all the time.
Yeah, like paid media,
or
right?
like paid media. And there's nothing wrong with it. The reason that I paid somebody to write an article on me is because I actually wanted my story to be told. And I wasn't going to write something to pay for it.
Paid media is okay. Like earned media and a mixture of earned and paid media is
fantastic.
Great. It's fantastic. Yeah. But if you want to get verified, good luck with just the paid media. You need real, like authentic journalists, like real features on credible outlets and things like that. So if you are like listening and you're thinking like, okay, how do I get more media? How do I get more credibility? How do I become an authority figure? I've definitely had the last 5 years of my life, I have slowly become an authority figure, and that is literally from doing the work, and then people reach out, and then you take it really quickly, and you're like, yes, thank you. Like you gotta crush it. And so if you do consider the fact like maybe you want to get verified, the number one thing they're going to look for is they're going to Google you, and they're going to see if you've paid for a bunch of media or if it was real. So they make those decisions like kind of in-house. Like it's actually a process.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that's actually good to discuss. I want to take it back though really quick to challenges.
Yes.
Being a mother, the jump and the kick into the real world. What was it like when you got pregnant? Was there a full understanding that you're going to have a child, or was it like when you were holding the child?
Oh my gosh. I mean, holy shit. Like, let me think.
That feeling?
So the first bit of my pregnancy was just, I don't even want to say this out loud because then all the mom haters are going to come out. I hated pregnancy. Like, it's just how it is. Being a mom, like the second you become a mom and you have any opinion, like you're going to, like it's like the stakes come out and then it's like, you're a witch. But I loved pregnancy. I loved being pregnant. I loved feeling the kicks. I enjoyed being like a big bubble in front of me. And I didn't hate it. Like I also had a home birth, which I think is also something that's becoming more popular, but it was a personal opinion personal decision that my husband and I thought, like, we were just like, yo, let's do this. Like, this looks cool. Like, it resonated with us. So we did that, and I loved it. It's just, let's be honest, 4 or 5 months goes by when they after they start moving around and they're a little bit more needy, it became real. It was just like, holy shit.
Oh, really?
I'm not even sleeping or bathing. Like, who's going to cook something for me? Like, they're first. They're always first. And that is amazing and special. But like, do you know how burned out you get as a mom when you haven't eaten all day and slept all day and all that? It's crazy.
It's interesting you brought that up. Yeah, I was going to say because I don't know at what point it gets real. Obviously, I'm a guy, so I have no idea. But at what point does it get real? And it sounds like you kind of saying like, it might not even get real until you're like 3-4 months in to actually having a child.
6 months in, you're like, shit is real.
yeah. You like, it wakes you up.
Oh yeah. Well, no, you don't wake up because you never sleep, but it's real. Like you start realizing that like if you want to get out of the house for even 1 hour, like that is a whole mission impossible. Like you're calling your mom, you're calling your neighbor, you're not sure. Like then they're teething. Your partner. Like you start negotiating. Like that's how I learned sales and negotiations is like, want to take my kid? Like you start learning how to set yourself up to leave for 1 hour, and then you leave for 1 hour and it sucks. And then you come back and it's like back to the thing because you almost personally for me, like I missed my baby. I also wanted my freedom, but like in those first little bit, like that year, there's just this like weird thing where you feel so guilty, like you leave and then you need to come back. And I mean, everyone's different, but it's this guilt that is coming from a place that so many people have taught us. And whether it's from like the movies of like what a labor looks like oh my God, my vagina, like all that stuff to like, to just the way that they position motherhood. And I'm here to debunk motherhood. I'm here to say like everyone has their unique journey, but let's just like stop with those expectations of what motherhood should really look like. Like it doesn't matter if you love breastfeeding or not. It doesn't matter if you give a baby the bottle or your boob. Like we all have our own right to like essentially live this experience and just experience motherhood for ourselves. And I feel like I really took those 3 extra steps of just telling people like, thank you, but no thank you. Like I just didn't want those opinions. And it was funny because when I really wanted to do the home birth, I had so many people saying negative shit to me like, oh, good luck, or it's gonna kill, or whatever. And I'm like, but why are you putting all those ideas in my brain already? Yeah. Like I haven't even experienced that yet. So
what I love is that what you're talking about, I can relate to business, and I'm sure you can too. Yeah. So let's use that as a kind of a transition here to discuss business.
Okay. My favorite topic.
I know, right? Business is definitely fun. Business is new. It's in a lot of ways, it's like motherhood. Your child is your business if you're an entrepreneur, right? So talk about kind of that real world kick into actually the realizing the challenges of running a business and some of the things like, and I don't want like any basic anything. I want to know like truly maybe just for you specifically, what were some like processes or systems or things you realized about hiring that you specifically realized that not many people touch on?
In particularly in business or like mothers in business?
You.
Just me?
Yeah.
Well, the first things first is don't try to do it all alone. Like if you can get outside individuals that can do something that you absolutely don't need to do, that's like the fastest way to be able to start moving towards scaling or automating something. Because at the end of the day, we all want to kind of do everything. Like we want to wear all the hats and everything like that. But bringing people on to help you make that vision come to life was really important. Productivity management software, like I can't live without the Asana.
What do you use?
Asana. Yeah.
We use Monday.com.
Same thing,
but
different
same
pile.
idea?
Yeah, same thing, different pile. And it's great. Like just having everybody understand what they're up to and like just productivity management. That's for sure.
Interesting.
Yep.
Now people say the biggest mistake business owners make is not paying themselves first.
Oh my God, dude, I've met people who ran a company for 10 years, didn't pay themselves, and then it went bankrupt, and they're like, oh shit.
I have nothing.
And the thing is with paying yourself first, and this comes from like award-winning CEO Anna Sinclair, just kidding, I had to plug
Listen,
myself.
Anna, everybody.
No, just kidding. But really, where this comes from is like you have to follow your intuition of like when you actually pay yourself and when you don't. Don't just pay yourself because you're like, I'm gonna pay myself. Obviously, there's times in your business where you've got to reinvest that money back into like this gorgeous studio that we're in.
We really did reinvest.
You have to know when the right time is. But if you're in business for say 2-3 years and you're not paying yourself, you definitely want to start paying yourself because even if down the line you start getting investors, or even if you just like you want to be bankable on paper, like you want to continue expanding and being able to take out loans or whatever, even for your own business, you need to be able to show the bank or the lender that you're bankable on paper. And so that is key for scaling, because capital is the only way to sort of take it to that next step. And not everybody like has that nice tight knit family of investors. Like not everybody has a way to get money. So sometimes you have to just friggin' get it on your own. And like as an entrepreneur, you can't just go to the bank and be like, yeah, I work for myself and like I don't make any money. Can you just give me $100K or like $500K?
And you can't expect to put capital into anything.
No, you can't. So, be bankable. Do the right thing.
Right? Yeah. Yes. You almost have to. You have to cash flow. Like you have to, and you have to take profits.
Yes. Okay.
I'm gonna totally switch topics, but I want to know: entrepreneurship or school, or can you do both?
I mean, obviously that's a personal, like obviously you can do both, but entrepreneurship is like school. You can sit there and go to school for 5 years, or you can throw yourself into entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship, and I say this like on almost every interview, so like it's so annoying to me by now, but it really is a series of over glamorized failures. You have to keep screwing up, and then you change it again, and you tweak it, and you change it, and you keep learning and growing. Entrepreneurship is that choice. It's that choice of like, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna try this, I'm gonna make it my own, and you're gonna screw it up. Whereas like with school, like you go, someone teaches you, you get it done, and then you go and look for a job.
You're your own teacher when you're an entrepreneur, and you're also the principal to make sure that the whole overlooking business is well taken care of.
It really depends on like what field you're going into.
True.
Right? Like obviously if you're going into the medical field, or you want to be like a cool ass coach and like you need psychology, then go ahead and do it. But business school to me is interesting. I feel like based on
keep it mid.
Yeah, like no, like okay. So we recently worked with Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins' partner.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
$1 billion a day industry, that online education space. TOTALMOM's going to be tapping into that. You're probably tapping into that. I mean, that is kind of the future that I see for my kids. I feel like my children won't be going to a traditional school. They'll likely be taking online courses, getting certified that way, and on their way to like whatever is going on in the world. Right?
There's a guy who came out with an awesome YouTube video, Prince EA, and he does like these cool example videos. He talked about the education system and said it's the one thing that hasn't changed in 100 years. He said, this is a Ferrari 100 years ago. This is a Ferrari today. This is a Lamborghini from 100 years ago. This is a Lamborghini today. This is school from 100 years ago. This is school 100 years ago today.
I mean, like, listen, everybody watching this that's like over 45, 50 is going to be a hater right now if I say, no, like school doesn't matter. At the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned, the way that we're entering into this new economy with the rise of technology, with the rise of entrepreneurship and really being your own, and this is all in the stats. I mean, if you look online, you'll see all the stats on this. Traditional school may not be as important or effective, but it's still great because, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all education, right? We all need some sort of education to do what it is. Entrepreneurship, you don't need education. You just get in there and you get on the horse and you start riding.
I feel like entrepreneurship in a lot of ways is for the people that, at least I'm talking to myself, is that it's the people that are stubborn and don't want to listen to anybody most of the time when they start out, and then they mess up so many times.
Then they go learn.
then they learn from that because they were so stubborn to not listen to anybody. Like painting walls. We were painting walls the other day, and I was painting with my dad, and he said, do this, do that, do this, do that. And I'm like, Dad, just let me do it, please. And I'll figure it out if it looks like crap. Yeah. Right? Okay, I want to ask you the biggest challenge for entrepreneurs getting into the entrepreneurship world. What can they expect to completely like shit the bed on?
Everything, like finances, communication, like dropping the ball on communication is like number one. You know, just like being so powered by a want and a desire to see something through, that you're not even like focusing on the fundamentals of business. Like it took me 3 years until I realized, when I actually had an interview with someone, and oh my God, it was like the worst interview ever. This guy was like literally schooling me and telling me like, oh, you're just like so fluffy and excited and whatever. Like you have no idea what you're getting into.
Interesting.
And he grilled me so hard. Like he literally was like, do you even know how to run a business? And at that time, it took me a second. Like obviously I took it personally. Then my emotional intelligence kicked in. Then I was like, wait, maybe this guy's saying something true. And then it finally hit me that I was like, wait, like, am I running my business like a company? The second that light bulb hit, everything changed for me. Like everything skyrocketed. We doubled and tripled our revenue. I started getting interviews. I started booking really big media. The thing that shifted my brain was stop digging around and figure out how a company is run and start learning from the people who know how to do it and start using the basic fundamentals of business. Like understand what's your business model, what's your unique value proposition, what's like, you know, do you have a viable product? Like, do people even want it? Like, I had to change our audience segmentation like 3 times because I thought I knew who our customer was, because I was like so involved with wanting to help this like ideal person. And then I realized that like it wasn't about me, it wasn't about like what I thought. Like we really had to test that. We really had to see, like we had to get feedback and surveys, and data is like everything. I didn't actually know that data was this powerful of a tool to grow and scale a company. And it was just one of those things where I had to like throw myself into understanding that like business is business. And I had to kind of take a step back and get kind of serious about things and really like turn to mentors and coaches and invest thousands of dollars into people who are credible and people who have been there and done that, and essentially like restructure everything from scratch.
How can somebody go about getting that click mindset? Do you think that in a lot of ways they have to get it on their own?
Well, what do you mean?
Because I think you got that click of a mindset just because you realized, because you probably shit the bed a lot of times, and then you realize, oh my God, I'm not running it like a company,
yes.
right? You had to learn, as they would say, the hard way.
Yes.
Do you think somebody telling you, you know, oh, doing this, run it like a company. So I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
Run it like a company. Do you think there's going to be people that actually listen to that? Or do you think that most entrepreneurs who are truly going to be successful kind of in some way have to realize sometimes you have to listen to people and sometimes you don't, and where that line is drawn?
I mean, always follow your intuition. But if your intuition is constantly taking you to like zero, then maybe you need a little bit of help. But no, not everyone's going to listen. Not everyone's going to listen to that. And not everybody is going to succeed. Majority of companies fail. Like, I think it's like almost 80%.
What was it? Yeah.
Was it 80% or something?
I think it was
like
80% fail in the first 5
years.
4 or 5 years. Yeah.
Somewhere like that. And if you can get through those years, don't think that you're safe. Like with business, the market's always changing, your customer changes, you're always evolving, so be ready to like figure it out. Like you should be, like a successful business needs to be agile and needs to be gritty and needs to be innovative and needs to like move quick on their toes. It's kind of like sports where, you know, if you can't like
line changes
line change like really quickly, like you're screwed.
Okay, so I want to ask you as we kind of come to a close here. I know I'm enjoying this, but I know we both have like minimal time here. But I want to ask, we were having this conversation in a team meeting. I said, what I'm finding with our business is it's not hard to find clients. It's not hard to find new business. What we struggle with is the client care aspect, in the sense that my lack of communication to the team, I cannot blame them if they don't do a video or communicate to the client in a way that I had initially requested, because not everything is just, automatically thought, right? You hire competent people, but sometimes you actually have to communicate those ideas.
I have the solution.
Okay, tell me, because my next kind of follow-up to this before you get going is client care, or growing a business, or focusing on managing your finances. Like, how does one maneuver? What's the most crucial part at that moment?
Okay, first and foremost, the most crucial part is revenue. You always start with the books. If you don't have if you're not generating revenue and you don't understand the data around your numbers, like if you can't actually see that you're profiting or that you're scaling or that like money is coming in, if you can't like think of what are my expenses and like what are my bills and like what am I making, that's a big problem. So get the books perfectly set up, you know, connect it to a QuickBooks. QuickBooks analyzes your data, like you're good to go, whatever, you know what's coming in, what's coming out. The other thing is like a lot of people struggle with what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's just like there's not like 5-10 of you, right? There's only one you. You're like the magic. You are the person that knows what you know best, and that's your zone of genius. But now things are moving and you're like, you can't be in 10 places at once. So the number one solution to all of this is creating videos and having like an onboarding experience and having that pre-recorded so that you know that your client only sees that special message the way you're going to say it, with your vibe, with your energy, with your words, and pre-record those. And like another thing that people are doing now is like a once a month touch-in with clients, where like you serve all of them at the same time, and like you see them, you hear them, they can talk about their wins. It's just like a community thing. It's like a monthly community thing. Everyone comes together, and like if they're a higher paying client, then add that like little one-on-one or whatever, right?
Because client maintenance and care, maintaining clientele, and I don't know, something clicked in
Have
me
you heard
a couple.
of Dubsado?
What's that?
Dubsado.
Dubsado?
Oh my gosh, Dubsado.
Teach me.
Shout out Dubsado. It's so good. So it's like the entire system from like when you send them an email to them reviewing an agreement to then getting an invoice to then automating to the thank you, and then they have their own portal in the back and it's like got all their stuff. But
so there are systems that you can create to manage client or just client care, client maintenance.
Yes.
Because that's a hard one, especially like a business like yours or a business like mine.
Yeah.
You're looking at like monthly, right?
The number one thing I will just give you I'm just going to give you the secret. The number one software on the market that you could get anywhere right now is called Zoho. I don't know if you've heard of it, but essentially is like the go-to solution for every business. It literally is a dashboard of everything in your business all at once in data. So your social media, your finances, your email marketing, your click rate, your open rate, your follower count. Like it is, if you're into data, like if you're nerding out and you want to see growth, you want to see like how many people are paying you, how many people are outstanding, how many people responded, what was the YouTube engagement, like all in one.
All in one.
Place. Zoho.
Use it. Ladies and gentlemen, do they get a code? If Anna Sinclair 20
message me. Yes.
Brand deals.
Yeah.
I don't know.
TOTALMOM.
Yeah.
TOTALMOM.
I was
I
gonna
don't think
say
there's a code, but really, like I will just message.
You'll get them hooked up. So
it's good. Yeah.
My final question, because we've got some content, I want to shoot some Polaroids with you and stuff like that. Yay. Yeah, which will look cool. But I want to ask you a final question. Advice for mothers. Number one thing they have to know before they have their child. Just in raising their child.
In raising their child, number one thing. That it's gonna be tough and be easy on yourself. Like you're gonna feel guilty if you don't get it all right, and no matter what, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, and everyone's gonna have something to say about it, and you're gonna have all the feels. But just remember, like, it's okay to take care of yourself. And if you don't take care of yourself, like, how are you supposed to take care of the family unit and be that, like, best version of yourself to not, like, psychologically damage everyone?
That was well said. I think that was well said.
That's true.
Okay, where can people find you?
AnnaSinclair.ca. So my Instagram's AnnaSinclair.ca and my website's AnnaSinclair.ca.
That's smart.
Yeah.
We should probably do that, Johnny.
You know what? It was like, it's all on my game to get verified. Like I'm working my ass off to get verified. And I've been in like...
Do you think that opens up a lot of opportunities?
Forbes, like all these big things. Like they're very picky with that check mark, with that verification thing. I'm almost there. Like I'm just...
I heard something, Instagram is the hardest.
It is.
And then once you get Instagram, you get TikTok. Yes. You can get YouTube.
Yes. So
you
that's
can get...
what I'm working on. And like, I'm the kind of person that if I set my mind to something, like... I'm not going to stop until I get that check mark. Like I will literally call you when you and I are going to go get drunk and I'm going to be so excited. It takes a lot of work.
Yep.
It's a job.
Yeah, I can't. I've heard people who have like worked to get verified, they'll work for like years.
Yeah. I mean, I've tried. I've been working on getting verified for almost 3 years now, and
Jeez.
I think this is the year. I think this is going to be the year.
Because just like the publicity and stuff like that, you have to get up to a high level.
The Google, like all of it. Like the people that review it, they need to know that like the audience or like the community like is actually going to trust that you're an authority figure. Otherwise, just like forget it. So it has to be credible. It has to be like a story that builds out through Google. So like you have to go into like multiple pages of some really credible media and.
Interesting. Well, we could do a whole separate.
You pay for, right?
You could literally do like a whole separate pod on that, right? Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching and listening to the Meeting Gold Show here. We are super pleased to have Anna Sinclair on, and if you learned a thing or two, please subscribe to us because we do more educational content like this. But please reach out to Anna, especially if you're a mother. I'm sure she has some good advice that she didn't get a chance to share on today.
Before we leave, can I just touch your hair, please?
Yeah.
Okay, I need
it's like an afro.
Oh my God, it's so nice.
It's like I'm Ginger in the sun.
It was gonna be.
On that note, we'll make that the thumbnail. Thank you everybody for watching and listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye. Thank you for listening to this week's Golden Guest on the Meeting Gold podcast. If you learned something from today's episode, make sure to check out our other content on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, and YouTube. Also make sure to leave us a follow while you're there. Thanks, and have a golden day.